All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our dashboard overview training. For those of you who don't know me, I am Bailey Renning. I'm an account manager here on the agency services team. And if you have any questions along the way, there is a Q&A feature in the Zoom. You can enter any of your questions right there. And then Carrie and I will be able to get those questions at the end of this training. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. We're going to be going over a Rakuten test account. We're going to start right here in the dashboard on the home page. And like I said, if you have a question as you're going through, just enter it right into the Q&A and let us know if you need anything there. All right, great. So here we are right here on the home page. This is what you'll see when you log in. You can tell it definitely looks a little different than it used to. We just recently changed over to the purple and pink color. When you first come in, there's a couple important things you want to go to first. The first one is notifications. When you click on the notifications bell at the top, it's going to pop over this little screen. Here's where you can see things to do. If you have transaction inquiries on your account, if you have publishers that need to be approved, you could see if you have any feeds that were recently uploaded into your program. That information is going to live right here in your notifications. Right here is where you're going to be able to see any program that you're managing that's attached to your unified login. So when you scroll over this section, you'll be able to see all of that information right here, and that's where you'll switch between programs. Right here in this corner is where you can actually add or remove any program. So if you start managing a new program, or if you are not managing a program anymore and you want to remove them from your unified login, this is where you're going to do that. You can add or remove channels at any time through this button. The other important thing here is the support option. So this support button actually lives on every page. When you click on it, it pops up this little helpful toolbar right here. You can type in any question that you had. It will bring up every article or video that's ever been written or done about that. So for example, if you wanted to know about dynamic commissioning, you could type in dynamic commissioning, and here are the top results for anything about dynamic commissioning. So this is a really helpful tool as you're starting to learn to navigate the dashboard. Definitely make sure you use this. There's also a live chat feature. That's mostly for after hours, or if you can't get a hold of Carrie or I, but you can use that as well. But definitely reach out to us first. You'll get the quickest response that way. And then here on the dashboard, this is the homepage, and a couple of things to note here. You probably won't be spending a ton of time on this homepage. You'll be more in these tabs up here. But this publisher lookup search by is a really cool tool. If you know the site ID for any publisher on our network, you can actually type it in right here and it will search. They don't even have to be in your program. So if you're looking to recruit a new publisher, or you want to get more information on a publisher and you have their site ID, you can actually add that in right here, click search, and it'll bring it up for you. So it's kind of just an easy feature if you're looking to search. It doesn't always get used, so I like to point that out. And then we have our performance overview. This does have the option to change your dates. It's not completely customizable like it is in reporting, but you can choose, say, for example, you wanted to see, all right, what happened this week? Once you click it here, it dynamically updates the rest of the charts below. And then you can see what happened for that week. And if you hover over it, it'll give you the previous year. So you can see year over year information as well. You can see sales, commissions, orders, clicks, all of that. Right quick snapshot. It'll show you trends. You can change some of the trends if you'd rather see for commission or orders. You could set that up. And it'll show you the top increasing and top decreasing publishers. So there is some helpful charts right here. You can, again, hover into right here and see basically the sales, the clicks, the orders. Same for top decreasing. This is obviously the test account, so there's none that are decreasing. And then you could see the publisher commissions approved and the top 10 publishers for your program. If you wanted to sort them by orders, you could do that. Or if you wanted to sort them by commissions, you could do that. And it will list 1 through 10. Again, this is just a quick snapshot of what's happening. You probably won't spend a ton of time on this homepage, but we do like to point out the features that are available here. And just so you know, I am going to go through all of these tabs. I'm not going to touch on every single thing in each tab. I'm just going to touch on the ones that are the most used and that we see that you'll probably be in, and really going into each of these sections. So under publishers right here, I am going to just go into my approved publishers section. This is where you'll see who has applied to be a part of your program. It's the same thing that you saw under that notifications. Right here, you'll see, okay, I have this many applications pending in my program. You can come down, you can actually get a really good snapshot of the specific publisher. If you click on their name, it pops up a little profile about them. You can see their site info, you can see their email address, you can see all of that. You can even go to their full profile page. You can go to their URL, which we definitely always recommend, and you could send them a direct email from the dashboard. So as you're going through and looking at all the publishers that are applying to your program, you want to make sure you go over all of that. You can then see, hey, maybe you only have 2 in here and they look really great. You can actually approve all in the queue just real quick with one push of a button. Or maybe you do have 188 and you have to look through all of them. You can export the list right here and it will export all of that information for you. So if you wanted to kind of look at it on your own time and then come back, you could do that. There is an option to group publishers right here. These groups are set up by you and assigned by you. The publishers do not see them. They're for your purposes only. You are the one who can go through and set them up. Publishers can only be in one group at a time. So that's something to note as well. But you could stick them right into a group right here, make it a little bit easier for yourself. Then you don't have to go back and assign groups later if that's what you decide to do. And then there is 2 options to decline. We do have a decline temporary and a decline permanent. We usually always recommend just to decline temporary unless it's a site that you know really is never going to be a good fit for your advertiser, or maybe it's an adult site or something like that, then you could definitely decline permanent. But if it's decline permanent, then they cannot ever again apply for your program. So usually we just recommend decline temporary right there. Also under publishers, I'm just going to pop into the My Publisher section. My Publishers is going to show you all of the publishers who are currently active in your program and participating. So there's 2 ways to search and get information about the publishers in your program. There's a basic search and an advanced search. The advanced search is probably where you'll spend most of your time because this is where you're able to really dig deeper into some information about your publisher. So you'll see there's kind of 2 different sections here, what you can search by, the relationship. If you've recently taken over management of a program, I always recommend coming in and just seeing who's been temporarily declined, who has been temporarily removed, all of that kind of information you can see because you didn't know, you don't have the historical information. This is a good place to check. You can also come down here and see if they've joined during a certain date, what their business model is. Say you really only want to search for a specific type of business model. There's a lot of good stuff, but at the very bottom here, here's where you get all of really the information. You can choose any, you can take away any of these options and get this information for your publishers. So say you're like, I want to know all my publishers and what specific offer, what commission rate they have right now. You just come in here, you click participating offer, you'd search and it will pull a whole list for you. So there's an easy way to see that. Or say you wanted to see, I want to see their first name because I'm going to reach out to them and I want their first name. You can add that information. You really can get any information about the publishers that are already currently participating in your program. So I definitely recommend coming in here, trying this out, searching, and then exporting the list. Since I'm in the test account, I'm not actually going to click search because there are a lot of publishers in this account and it will just slow it down. But once you click search, it takes you to a page where you have the whole list and you do have the option of downloading or exporting it. Awesome. And then right under here, we also have Find New Publishers. So this is our recruitment tool. This is what you can use to find any new publisher on our entire platform. So there is a lot of good options here to set some criteria or some specific categories. So for say you're looking for specific like bloggers, or you want lifestyle publishers, or you want to pull a recruitment list that has mommy bloggers, there is the option to do all of that within our Find New Publishers section. It really does allow you to do that. And when you're pulling recruitment, you'll be able to get the whole list. The one thing to note here is that when you do put together like a recruitment list from our Find New Publishers section, it doesn't give you their email addresses. So you will have to pull that in yourself. Sometimes it takes a little while to load too, because there's a lot of publishers on our platform. And especially since I'm sharing my screen, it's just taking a little bit of time. But now we'll pop up the Find New Publishers page. Here's where you can see all that info. Right up at the top will be our recommended publishers. So that's basically like an AI carousel that is just generated for you automatically. If none of these look like a good fit, you can just hide them. Or if it looks like a good fit, you can bookmark it for later. But when you come down here, there's 2 steps to set up as you're pulling your recruitment list. The first one would be to set your categories. So like I said, say you wanted that, specific blogs, or you could add that in, or say you're like, I want to really hit people who have children blogs, children sites, you could include that. Also education kind of falls into what you're looking for, but I really am also looking for men's lifestyle. Some interesting choices, but say that's what you wanted. You can include up to 5 categories here. And then what it will do is it will just really pare down that list for you. So as many as I always recommend doing up to 5, because it helps just get that list smaller. And then also coming down here, you can then get some other criteria. And something that we recommend every time is to click this active button. This means that the publisher has been active within the last 30 days. There are a lot of publishers on our platform. You don't really want a publisher who isn't active, who isn't actually driving conversions, who isn't looking to be joining a program. So this is a really important thing to press right here. And then you can set additional things if you have more criteria. So if you wanted to have a customer reach only to the United States, you could set that up. If you had specific monthly page views that you were looking for, or unique visitors, you could set that up too, and it just continues to narrow down that list for you. Once you get down here to the bottom, you can click this search button, and what it's going to do is search that list for you to get all those specific publishers. And then from there, you can export the list, you can extend an offer to those publishers, you can reach out to them by sending them an email from the dashboard. There's a ton of different options that you can do as you're pulling together these recruitment lists. One thing to note that I didn't say that I wanted to say is these categories are self-described. So when a publisher signs up on our platform, they choose this category themselves. Sometimes they change, sometimes they're not 100% right, sometimes it doesn't necessarily fit exactly. So as you are looking at this, take that with a little bit of a grain of salt and make sure you're still double checking. Does this fit with my advertiser? Would they be a good publisher for my program? Definitely want to make sure we still have that where you guys are looking at the publishers before you're extending them invites and having them come into your program, because yes, these are self-described categories. All right, and then the last thing that I just want to note here before we move to the next tab is that if you click at the very top of the tab, if you don't actually go into it, it's going to pull up a overview page. And this overview page has basically one sentence about each thing. So if you were looking at this and you saw publisher screening, you're like, I don't really know what that means. If you click right here at the top, it actually takes you to this definition so that you can see our publisher screening is where you can define the rules that control which publishers apply to your program. So say you only wanted certain people, or you're only looking for specific publishers, you could set that up here under publisher screening. So that's the same for all of these tabs. If you click on the top, it will take you to this overview page where it gives that one sentence description. All right, now I'm going to jump into links. So under links, you'll probably be in text links and banner links the most. Text links is where you're going to be adding or updating any text link. You can bulk upload text links if you do have a lot to add at a time, or you can do them just one at a time. When you come down here, you'll see all the text links that are added into your program. If you actually click on the name, anything that's blue, you can click on, and if you click on the name, it takes you to the page that shows all of the details about the text link. So it shows the name, the URL, the ID, the start and end time, the time zone, all of that. As you're setting these up, if you want to send a text link to a specific publisher, you could actually do that right here. This send option allows you to choose a specific publisher and then send the text link directly to them. So there's always that option. I'm just going to set up a text link together too so we can all see. When you add a new text link, once it comes up here, you'll see there is two things too. There's a link text and there's a name. Both of these are required and it can sometimes be confusing. The name is what the actual publishers see on their side. The link text is just for your records. They can be the same if that's easiest for you, but the name we always recommend having the specific promo code, having the valid dates in here, having all of that information, because that is what the publisher sees when they're pulling on their side. So like for this one, extra 20% off clearance, use this code. It's valid these days. That's really helpful information to them as they're setting this up, as they're pulling text links. So adding all of that to the name is really important. And then down here, when you are assigning them, this is where those groups can come into play, like we were talking about before. You can assign a text link to a specific group right here. You can give it to just a specific publisher. You can assign to all. This is where groups can be really helpful. And then also if you have similar text links, you can copy the link and just kind of create from there so it can go fast. So there is a lot of good options here, but we definitely want to make sure that when we're adding text links, we get all this information into it. We get the start dates, we get the end dates, all of that. And if it is an evergreen text link, if it's something that you're going to just have up for a whole year, you could click the auto renew button so that it would just stay up in your program and never end. So that's also another option. Same with banner links. In banner links, you can add any banners into your program. Definitely, we see affiliates mostly use text links and deep links, but it's still really good to have a set of banner links in your program. You can bulk upload banners. So say you have 15 banners that you want to add in, you can do that, or you can just add them one at a time. You can come down and see the specifics about your banners. Same thing, if you click right here, it'll give you that start date, that end date, the URL, all of that information. And then if you want to edit it, this little pencil over here will allow you to edit. Or if you want to delete, you can click right here and you can delete it. So this is definitely, like I said, we recommend having a set of banners in here, but most of the affiliates are using text links and deep links. All right, and then the other thing that I want to just highlight really quick under links before we move on is default creative. Make sure that you have a default creative set up for a text link and a banner link in your program. The default creative is what's going to be displayed if one of those links expires. So you want to make sure you have something in here for both of these. If you've recently taken over management of a program, always come here and check first. Maybe you've set something up, but you're not sure if it has an end date. Maybe it's expired. Go in and check under your default creatives to make sure there's something in there. Awesome. Lots of other good stuff under links, but I'm not going to spend any time here. I'm now going to move over to offers. And again, as we're going, if you do have any questions, you can enter them into the Q&A. All right, so under offers, the way that we talk about commissions here is offers. Some people call them IO, some people call them commission offers. We just call them offers. This is where you're going to see specifically what publishers are at what commissions. This is where you can set it up. This is where you can extend commission rates to offers, all of that. So when you come into this section, you'll see all of the offers that you have live for your program. You should, if your program is public, always have at least one public baseline. You'll see under type, all of these say private, private, private. There should be one that says public baseline. You definitely always have to have a baseline offer. That's how publishers are finding your program on their side. When they're looking on their publisher dashboard and searching and joining and applying for programs, that's how they'll do it. So you need to have a public baseline that way. You can also come in here and see, I want to see who's participating in this offer. If you click view under publishers, and again, anything blue, you can click on, it will take you to a page that shows any participating and any pending publishers. Since this is a test one, there's nobody even in this one, but you would see under here the specifics of who was in it, who was participating, or if there were still pending publishers. So that's where you would see that. I'm going to just create an offer together just so we kind of get an idea about how to create it as well. We do have the ability to set up an offer with specifics. You can do dynamic commissioning, you can add SKU lists, you can set up by customer status, you can set up with coupon codes. There's tons of flexibility to create an offer specific to your program. So if you have a question about a specific offer, you're like, I don't know how to set this up. I know that you said we can do it. Just shoot me or Carrie an email and we'll walk you through it. We're happy to help you guys and make sure that you're setting up the offer so that the commission rate is going out how it should be. But just to create an offer together here, we'll start just to create a new offer. We'll just do test. You could put any comments in here. Again, this is for internal use only, so it's not shown to publishers. It doesn't necessarily matter what you put there. It's just for you. You could set your time zone to whatever you want. If you want it GMT, you can choose start now. You can choose your end date. This is where you'll choose if it's private or public. And again, if it is public, that means anybody can join it at any time. So when you're sending out offers, typically they're going to be private. And then you can do that dynamic commissioning. So you just click this little radio button for dynamic commissioning here. And that'll allow us to really set up the offer with the rules that I was talking about before. If this offer, you want it to auto renew, you don't ever want it to expire, you can set that up as well. Most of them probably won't be, but if you want to, you can click that. And then it's going to take us right here. So here's where you can kind of set up your base commission. So let's say we wanted to do a 10% commission, but we also want to do a rule where new customers get a higher commission. So we would add a rule right here. We are last click, our attribution is last click, so that's why it's percent of sale, last click. So when the customer status is on the list, which I'll show you the list that we can create together, new, pay a commission of 15%. Say that's what you want to set up. You can add as many rules as you want. So for this one, we can do when customer status is on the list of MVP, pay a commission of 25%. You really can set it up however you want, and our rules do run top to bottom. The lowest matching rule will win. If there are no matching rules, it'll default to the base commission. That's why you always have to set up that base commission right there. Same thing with if you had a coupon code, if you had something else, you can add in all of these rules here. There's lots of flexibility. If you are not sure if your advertiser is passing back new or existing customer status, or you're not sure if they're passing back coupon code or any of this other information, we can definitely check on that. And I can show you how to check on that, because in order to set up these type of commission rules, they do have to be passing this information back to us in the pixel. So we have to be capturing that for this to be set up. So the first step, even before you would come in here and set this up, was to make sure that we are collecting that information. But you could do any of these. Say you didn't like these rules anymore, you could edit them, you could delete them. And then what you do is you just go here. This shows you kind of what's happening. If you did have custom terms, you could add them here, but this is just the terms for the description, for approval. Go to next. This is where you'll see all of the offer details. You want to make sure everything looks good here before you launch your offer. Once your offer is ready to launch, you'll just click launch right here, and it'll take you to the option to invite publishers. So this is where you can actually invite the publishers to specifically participate in your offer right here. I'm not going to invite anyone since it's a test account, but that's where you do that. Like I said too, something to note that's a little bit different about our platform than other platforms. When you are setting up offers and a publisher accepts the invitation and goes into that offer, you cannot force them into other offers. So that is a little bit different the way that we do it. You have to extend them another invitation and then they have to accept. We work with a ton of publishers. We work with a ton of people who like that. They like that they don't just get changed around into different commission rates, and we do have a heavy publisher focus. So that is something that is different. So when you are setting up these offers, definitely take into account the fact that you have to talk to the publisher and have them go in and accept the offer on their side. Just extending them an invitation does not equal them being in the offer. So just a little caveat there. The other thing two other things I want to point out is under commissioning lists and coupon commissioning. Commissioning list, this is where you will create that list like I was talking about that we attach to the offer. This is where you will be able to see what is being passed back to us, the specific fields. So there are a lot of things that can be passed back to us. This is the test account, so everything shows here. You can see if you come in here and all you see is SKU and product name, that means they're not passing back customer status. That means they're not passing back coupon code. So definitely go in and check out here, and this is where you can create that commission list as well. And I'd be happy to walk you through creating a commission list if you have a question or if you want an example. I can definitely help with that. And then the last thing here is coupon commissioning. So coupon commissioning is not automatically enabled for every account. So if you go into your account and you look under offers and you don't see this option, that means that it's not been enabled for your account. If you want it to be enabled, again, just reach out to Carrie and I and we'll help you get that set up. But this is kind of like our solution for blacklisting coupon codes. Basically, there's 3 options. You can create a coupon code that's commissionable for select publishers, meaning only specific publishers can earn commission on it. It can be commissionable for everyone, or it could be non-commissionable, meaning no publisher can earn a commission on this coupon code. So there's those 3 options here. This is where you'd add that information in. Pretty self-explanatory, but again, if you do not have the ability to see coupon commissioning, just reach out to Carrie and I and we'll help get that enabled for your account. All right, moving on to reporting. Under reporting, Carrie, can you check if we have any questions actually halfway through here? We'll see if we do.
We have one question. How can I set up a public baseline?
Oh, that's a great question. So you should have a baseline in your program. If it says right now that it is private, you can go in and you can edit it so that it is public. If you want to switch your public baseline when you're setting up offers, there's this little button that says switch to baseline. I can go back there and look at it real quick. So definitely you want to make sure you have it public. And then you also, if you want to change it, you can go in and switch. So let me see if I can find let's see if this has the option under this one. This one has a lot of offers set up because these are all test offers. Let me see if I can find the public baseline real quick and then I can show you how to do that. Okay, here's the private baseline. So exactly, this is a good example of this. Under baseline, that's where it'll pop up for switch baseline offer. That's the only one that will give you that option. That's where you can switch it. Also, this is where you can go in and edit the offer details. So since this one is private, what you could go in and do is edit it and then click the radio button for public. And then that would save it right there, meaning that anyone then could see this offer and join it for your program. And then you just save right there. So that's the option on how to do that. That's a great question. Awesome. All right, and now I'm just going to pop into reporting. You'll probably spend a lot of time in reporting. This is where you're going to pull the metrics and the numbers for your program. There is a ton of options to set up reports. So when you come in here, you can choose any of our standard reports. These are like standard ones that we have set up on our side, or you can create a specific report for yourself and save it. Typically, individual item report and sales and activity report are used a lot by our agencies, but there's a lot of good data under all of these. Once you click this, it'll set it up down here. You can set your date range. Let's do last month, click apply. You could also click this button here to show the last period. So if you do compare to another period, what it is going to do is pull up the previous year and those specific dates so that it will kind of show you the comp period. And once you click apply, it puts that there, and then you can turn on, there's a little toggle graph button. You can toggle the graph on and off, and then you can view the report. You can download it. You can get the API call right there. All of that info lives there. Once the report actually comes up down here, I'm going to show you some other cool options. So you have the ability to add or remove any column to these reports. So you can really make it as specific as you need. Under the add or remove column, like I said, there is the ability to add in more data. So for example, when we were talking about customer status with offers, say you're like, I want to see if my advertiser is passing back customer status and then what it is. You would come over here and you would add in the customer status field. So I just usually start typing it in because it's easier to find that way. But all you have to do is click the little button and then click apply and then click view report again. And it's going to pull up any information under customer status. That's the same thing with coupon code. So you're like, I want to see what coupon codes are being passed back in my program. You can do that by adding in coupon code into your reporting. So there really is a lot of flexibility here to make these reports exactly how you want them. If you pull the report and you add in customer status or you add in coupon code and the column is completely blank, that means that's not being passed back to us in the pixel. It's not hard to fix that though. To fix that, all you have to do is reach out. Me and Carrie will get a tech ticket created. Our tech team will work with the advertiser's tech team and we'll update the pixel and get that information captured. So it's usually a pretty easy process. For this one, you can see here in customer status, some are existing, VIP, new, there's a lot of options. The advertiser assigns that definition, so they would be the ones who would know specifically what it means, but you can see that. Say you didn't really want to see transaction time or process date, you could click these little X's. Or say you're like, I actually only want to see for a couple of publishers. You could select the specific publishers that you wanted to see and apply, and then it's only going to show you those publishers. And then say you get a report that's perfect. It's everything that you want. Every Monday you have to do weekly reporting. So this is the report you want to use. You can come over here and you can save that report. That's where it will save and be customized. You can also schedule the report. So you could schedule it to come into your inbox every Monday morning. So you don't even have to log in. It would just come right to your inbox and make it a little bit easier. So there is a lot of opportunity here to make these reports exactly what you want. I definitely recommend getting in there, playing around with them, scheduling some reports, viewing reports, getting them set up. Under reports too, we do have our new really cool Insights and Analytics portal. This portal is going to take you to a new tab. When the new tab opens up, again, there's a lot of good data in here. There's the ability to download our trend cards. Our trend cards are just another type of reporting that we offer to you. You'll see, again, like that homepage that we saw where you have the highlights and you have the sales and the clicks and all of that. These you can download, which is nice. But over here on this left side, that's where you can download the trend card. You can look at the analytics. You can add annotations into your specifics. There's a lot of really cool things you can do here. So we definitely recommend checking this out, going in, playing around in there a little bit. All right, and then back to the dashboard. Under messaging, this is where you are going to set up your newsletters. Before we get into that, I just want to highlight this auto reply email section. Auto reply emails are the customized emails that publishers receive when they apply to your program, are accepted into your program, are denied from your program. If you've recently taken over management of a program, make sure you go in and you check out that the wording's all set up correctly, that there's no weird links or no weird email addresses in there. You want to have all of this set up. You can edit it here and then save it, but this is where you'll see all of that. This is also where the transaction inquiries live. Transaction inquiries are typically submitted by our loyalty publishers. Since loyalty publishers are giving like a cash back or a percentage of points to their customers, sometimes what they report on their side is different than what we report, so they'll submit a transaction inquiry. It's very easy to do a resolution here. You can select the resolution if you need to approve it or deny it. There's a lot of options. If you do have like 144 of these, if you came in and you had a lot, there is even an option to bulk upload these. So you can just click import transaction inquiries. It'll take you to this feature where you can bulk upload them and it gives you all of the steps and it gives you the template. So really easy to do. Make sure you're checking on the transaction inquiries that are inside of your program and keeping up on them on a regular cadence. All right, and then I'm going to hop right into just our newsletters. Inside of Inbox, this is where you can see what has been sent, what you have saved in your inbox, what your drafts are. This is also where you can compose a message to send out. You just click compose message, it's going to bring it up. You do have to select your recipients first before you actually make your newsletter, but it's easy to do. If you want to send it just to one specific publisher, you could choose their site ID, or you could send it to everybody who's approved, or everybody who's pending, or anybody who's been active in the last 30 days. So there are some, really ways that you can get your criteria down to what you need so that you're reaching out to the correct people. So I'm just going to choose relationship all approved. Here's everybody who's approved in this program. There's 91 publishers, and I'm just going to click send message to all matches. So then it will take us to the actual compose email section, and this is where you'll add in the subject line, you'll add in your message. We recommend sending these in HTML. HTML renders the best, it's the best option. When you click source, that's where you'll add the HTML in, and then you can preview it right here. There is not a way to send yourself a message first unless you have a test publisher account. So I would recommend creating a test publisher account. It's helpful anyway, just to see what the publishers are seeing on their side. And then that way you can send it to yourself first, check it out, or you can just check the preview right here. You can also see what's been sent for your program right here. You can go in and look at all that. It lives right here as well. All right, and then I know we have about 15 more minutes, so I'm going to cover these last two tabs here. Under placements, we have our placements insight tracker. So most people are running placements. You're probably keeping track of them on your side, like on a Google Doc or something. This is an easier way to keep track of them. Also, say you did take over management of a new program, you'd have then the historical record of, hey, what did they run last year in Q4? You could come in here and actually see, and you could see how it performed because you could download a performance report. So this is a really easy, cool feature that not a lot of agencies are using that we want to make sure you guys know about. You can just put it in here, and all it does is just record this information for you easily, where you can reference back to it at any time. So I'm just going to create one. You could do an individual placement or a package. You do have to have the ID. So you just click the ID. This one's not in the program, so I don't know. You do have to have an ID here for your specific publisher. You could choose the event, say it's back to school, or say it's nothing. That could be an option too. And then you can put in if it's a flat fee, if it's an increased commission, if it's a hybrid. It keeps all of this information here. With flat fees, you could actually put this in, and then you can have it be included in the publisher payment. So then you wouldn't even have to go in and bonus them. It would just pull the information right from here. Say there's an insertion order that they had you sign, you could upload the insertion order and it would keep track of that too. So it just helps keep track of everything. It even allows you to create the specific tracking link to send to the publisher for the specific placement. So this is just a really good feature that we want to make sure everybody knows about and that they're able to get in there and check it out. And then once the actual placement runs, you can download the performance report, and what it will show you is how it did. So it just really is an easy option for you. You can go back, you can set the date ranges to see. We also have a marketplace where you can go in and reach out to publishers. You can see what placements they have available. We do have publishers who are constantly updating like their media kits in here, or if they have some placements coming up, like maybe there's a home page or something like that. All you do is just click this discovery button and you'll see, okay, here's Cartera, here's their media kit. It looks like they do have some available placements. Here's Geo Vouchers. They have some media kit and some placements available. You can reach out to them here. You could reach out to them directly, either way, but it is another kind of cool option where you can come in and see if you have some spend. You can even set up a specific campaign, which say you have like $1,000 you wanted to spend on a placement, you could create a campaign and then it will send it out to the publishers that way as well. So you could enter the name, you could enter your budget, you could enter the landing page and a description, and then it's going to send it out there to the publisher. So that's a really cool option as well. And then lastly, under account, this is important because this is where all of the info about your specific program is stored. Under contacts, make sure that you have the correct information under contact for publishers. That should be your agency. It should be the email alias that you have or the distro that you have, your name. It should not be anybody else. That's how publishers reach out to you. So make sure that you have that in there. If it's in there, if you go in and you're like, oh, it's wrong, just reach out to Carrie and I will update that for you. Also make sure that the billing contact email is correct. Make sure that you are reaching out to your advertiser to get that information in there correct, because you won't really know what's necessarily happening, how they're paying their invoices, and then all of a sudden the account will be suspended because they didn't pay, but they didn't know because they didn't have the right email address in there. So that's definitely something that we recommend checking and keeping up with, just like the contact for publishers. Under advertiser settings, this is where you can go in and check to see, all right, what does my actual program look like to publishers? There's the program homepage, your recruitment page, your program listing. This is where all of that information lives, and that's what publishers will see. So make sure that you have your email address in there, you have all of the correct logo, your recruitment page is updated, you have info about what's happening in your program listing is updated. These are really important to make sure that you check on as well. And then also under settings, this is where you'll see what your default return days are. If you have deep linking enabled for your program, what your terms and conditions are, if you have custom terms and conditions, if you have the paid placement billing, like I just talked about, meaning if you set up in a paid placement and you attach a number to it, it will go right into your billing. So these are really important sections to at least know what's happening in your program. So I would definitely recommend coming in here and looking at your settings. Users and permissions, just going to show who has access to the program. Billing is where all of the invoices live. So definitely, again, if all of a sudden you can't get into the program, you can reach out to me. I can look at the billing. I can see what invoices they haven't paid, what invoices are outstanding. That's where that lives. But the last two things I'm going to look at are transactions and publisher payments. So transactions is where you can process any cancellations, where you can do any credits. Most advertisers are on a monthly basis processing cancellations or voids or edits based off of returns that they have. That's where you come in and do that under manual cancellations. You can do it one at a time. You can do a small order, like group of 50, or you can create a whole file up to 1,000 at a time. So it just kind of depends specifically on what your advertiser gives you. But like I said, monthly, you probably should be working with your advertiser to see if they have returns and to see if you should be processing cancellations. This is where you do it. And same with credits. If something, happens and maybe a publisher didn't accept the correct commission offer in time, so their commission, didn't get in there correctly, you could submit a manual credit to them. You could come in here, you could add in, okay, here's the order number, here's their site ID. The reason was, they didn't accept the correct commission offer. Then that way they're getting the correct amount that they should be. So you could do that, or you could do multiple at a time. I think that also goes up to 50. All right, and then the last thing we're just going to go over real quickly is publisher payments. So this is where you're going to review, approve, and adjust monthly payments for your publishers. Right now, we're into July. This one still has the June one open because it's for last month. You can come in, you can see, here's the publisher, here's how much commission there is. Is there any bonuses for them? Is there anything else happening? You'll see at the very bottom, that's the amount. If you come in here and it all looks great, everything's awesome, you can submit it and approve it. Say though, there is some commissions here and you're like, this doesn't make sense. You can hold it until you're able to go and check and further get information. Maybe there's some fraud, or maybe it was a completely fraudulent order and you want to deny those commissions. You can do that as well. So there is options to adjust. You can also adjust at the transaction level. You could click specifically right in here. Again, anything that's blue, you can click on. It'll take you to the transaction adjustments. You'd enter in the transaction. You could adjust it transaction by transaction. So there is really a lot of flexibility here to do that with all of the commissions. All right, I know we're just a little bit over on time. Carrie, do we have any questions quickly? Any other questions before we wrap up?
No other questions.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining today. Really appreciate the time. We will send out this recording afterwards. And then as you're getting into the dashboard, if you do have questions, you need help, you need anything, please reach out to Carrie and I. We are happy to help you. All right. Awesome. Have a good day and we'll talk with you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.